Today, we're going to talk about a few things that you can use making for towards your pets. Specifically, today, we're going to talk about making for a pet bird. I actually have a pet bird. His name is Alonzo. He's a little Quaker parrot. So this is going to be a video that sort of talks more about stuff that I have for him, but any of these things that we talk about today can be sized up for any size bird, smaller or larger. We're going to start today by prefacing this video by you should never use something that you think is unsafe. There are quite a few things online, different places that you can search, and actually visiting your local retailer for birds might actually be your best place to start. They're going to be able to tell you a lot of what I'm going to say today in relation to safe toys, in relation to what's good for your pets, and what you need to do to make them interact with something or something to make it go that way. So without further ado, I've got some stuff over here to the side that we're going to talk about, and then I'm going to go over some of the things that we say related to safer toys and things like that we make. First things first, your pet bird is going to play with a lot of things. They're going to pick it up, and you can imagine them a lot like a young child. They're going to pick stuff up, and it's going to kind of look like they're putting it in their mouth. They're not really using their mouth to learn in so many words. They're going to use it almost like a hand. They're going to be able to pick, grab at it with that beak, and chew and do stuff that way, which is more mouth related. So a lot of the things we're going to talk about we're going to start with saying that we need non-toxic things. So specifically talking about that, I've got like a little plastic wiffle ball here. As long as this is a nice, child-safe, non-toxic toy, they're going to chew on this. They may swallow a few pieces. Oftentimes your bird's going to play with it in their mouth, and then they're going to spit it out thinking it's not food. So little toys like this, these little plastic balls, plastic feet, things like small little discs, or you might even find like some shoes, rubber duckies, things like that are going to be great toys because not only do they have a surface area, they might be brightly colored. They might have quite a few different things in relation to holes or surfaces you could mount from and kind of go from there. Before I get too far into this, what I want to show you is this is one of my bird's toys. I purchased this toy. It is not handmade, but this is definitely something you could make. It's got different multimedia stuff in it. We've actually got a little acrylic tag down here at the bottom. You could use the laser cutter to cut that acrylic into fun shapes. You've got things like crinkly paper. You've got these little wooden discs, some bird-safe toys, rope. We've got cardboard, various things like that, small wooden beads. And running through this whole thing is a stainless steel rod that's kind of holding everything together. We've got our little hanging toy. So this toy, hangs, it moves, it responds. These individual pieces rotate. These are all things that are going to keep your bird interested. So as we go through, you might find things like these little wooden beads. That's going to have a perfect hole to just run some string or run your little stainless steel rods, things like that. As I said before, cardboard. Cardboard makes wonderful things. You can cut this with an X-Acto knife. You can cut it into fun shapes. You can roll it around, bend it up. You can leave it flat and stack a lot of pieces together. That's a very common bird toy. And that's going to bring me to my next point. Start with your bird's level of toys. Take what you've got. Take what you can find. Take what they make for your size bird and look at it. Take an idea, see when you say, oh, that's just paper. That's some little pieces of wood. A lot of bird sale places are actually going to sell toy parts. And that's what this video is about. You can even recycle old parts. Let's say my bird takes this, he chews the knot off, he takes this little green disc and he throws it on the ground. As long as that is a clean part, I can take it and retie it to something else. So a lot of this is going to be things that you can recycle, things that you can use to make new toys. Once you have enough recyclable pieces, you can make a whole new toy. There are various things you could start with, very simple toys like this. I could untie the rope, slide some pieces off, and even slide down further onto the pieces that way. We're going to talk about wood next. There's a lot of things that people need to know about this. There are a list of safe woods and a list of unsafe woods. So things like pine, balsa, birch, poplar, maple, walnut, a lot of those are going to be very good. You're going to find a lot of bird branches made out of things like cactus wood and manzanita woods. Those are very safe. If you can find pieces or toys made out of it, even better. Little kids' wood toys. These are going to be a lot of times cheaper, made out of the pines, the balsas, and stuff like that. You need to know that going into this. You need to make sure that those are safe. A lot of other woods, cherry, cedar, things like plywood, those are very dangerous for your bird. They can be toxic, they can be splinters and cause other things like that. You never want to do pressure treated woods. Pressure treated woods are going to be treated with all sorts of chemicals and things that are really, really not good. Like I said here, you've got things like rope and stuff like that. You're going to want to make sure that rope is natural fiber rope. Things like cotton, hemp, jute, sisal, those are all going to be bird safe things. They're all made out of nice, safe things. If you're not careful, if you've got a plasticky rope or something like that, you need to keep a very close eye on it. Just like we keep an eye on our toys to make sure that we can't, take apart from them if they're really getting destroyed. We need to make sure they're not so destroyed that they are actually dangerous. Even this little rope, as it unwinds, you want to make sure your bird is not, sticking their head through there or something like that. If that gets wrapped around there, that's very dangerous. But a lot of toys are going to braid this up. You're going to fill this space. There's not going to be a lot. You can see, this is just a piece hanging off the side. Once I see my bird take that knot off, I might just take the whole thing out the side as well. I don't want to have anything dangerous in there. When it comes to plastics, things like that, you can find plastic chains, things along that nature, but you can also find things like non-toxic food-safe plastics, things like straws. And as a matter of fact, they make these little things right here. This little red piece with the wing nut here is actually a straw spiralizer. So you can see the pieces coming out here. This is a wonderful toy. You can sit, you just rotate it up, and you can see, I'm not sure how well you can see, but I'm getting whole new pieces of that straw just cut all the way up into a much bigger. And that is perfect. They're going to pull on that. It's going to spring back. It's going to be interesting. Spins around, does stuff that way. A lot of those things are something you could take this and just loop it around. That connector, that fasten piece of this is just going to be the piece that stuck on there. It's good enough to hold. Eventually, your bird is probably going to be able to get that off, but that's not too big a deal. When it comes down to various other things, little Chinese paper traps, these, a lot of kids' toys are going to be non-toxic. So that's going to save a lot of worry for you. But these little paper, these, bamboo-y pieces, things like that are going to be something they could pull and shred and chew apart that way. Next thing we're going to talk about, you might even be able to recycle things from other food safe materials. So this is actually like a little individual egg holder, things like little egg cartons and stuff like that might be something that you can use. This would be a perfect thing to take and punch a hole through it with a knife and or a screwdriver or something just to get a hole in it. It's also something you could just put some treats in. And that's going to be very important. If your bird is food motivated, you're going to find stuff that you can put treats in. You might be able to put a few little pieces of seeds or something like that in here. You might even be able to find some of these that have treats already in them. You're going to be able to find a lot of things. And if you can't find it or find something that, has a spot in it, tubes, things like these cardboard things here, you can fill them with this stuff. This is that sort of paper grass they come out with. This stuff is going to be perfect to pull out, throw all over. My bird really seems to like to make a big mess out of this stuff specifically. And if I were to take this, throw some here, put some of his treats in there and do things that way, I'm sure he would love that toy. And so that's what you need to do. You need to pay attention to your bird. What are their favorite toys? What do they like to play with? If they really, really like to pull on these little straws, pay the couple bucks, get yourself a straw spiralizer. You're going to like it. Just regular straws become these whole long pieces that, the bird can now hang on and pull and play with that way. This is also not something that they really can get wrapped up in. It's very, very weak. They can break it and chew it and things like that. So, you can keep an eye on your toys, make them safe, make them what your bird wants, and do things that way. Like I said, if you ever have any doubts, visit your local bird retailer, look online. A lot of this information is on there. A lot of people are doing the same thing you are and doing DIY toys, using old pieces to remake new toys and do things that way. If you have any questions about making in our space, like I said, we are going to be able to do little acrylic tags, pieces that way. You might even be able to 3D print some sort of spiralizer. You just throw the knife in. I mean, that's all it really is a little blob of plastic. There are various things that you can try and do here that might be good enough for your bird, or things that you can kind of go that way with and go from there. My name is Doug. I hope you had got a lot of ideas out of this and learned a little bit here. And like I said, if you ever have any questions, give us a call. We're open now for all appointments, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Have a good one.